I will start by giving you guys a little bit of background on me, and then later today I'd like to hear a little bit about you as well. So my name is John Flood. You are welcome to call me John, but if that feels uncomfortable for you, you can call me professor or teacher. Anything to get my attention usually works. I am from Wisconsin. I grew up in Wisconsin, big family, small town. I always share a fun fact that I have more siblings than graduating classmates. So I have 7 brothers and sisters, but I graduated high school with 6 other people. I got my bachelor's in chemistry from the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. I actually started college as a business major and took a few business classes and didn't really like them. Took a few chemistry classes and felt like it just wasn't enough. I wanted to know more about chemistry. So I kept pursuing chemistry, but truth be told, I didn't know what I wanted to do with chemistry. I liked teaching, so I set my sights on being a college professor. And the only way that I had seen that done was with a PhD. So after I got my bachelor's, I started a PhD program at CU Boulder. I got through the first year of classes and started doing a year of research. And it was the time away from the classroom that made me realize I don't want to do 7 years of research if it means I don't get to be in a classroom during that time. I also found out during that time that I could teach at a junior college or a community college with a master's degree. So I actually abandoned my PhD, got a master's in place of it, and I moved out here, started teaching as an adjunct 5 years ago, and then got hired full-time 2 years ago. This is my husband, Omar. He and I just finished our honeymoon a couple of weeks ago. Our 3 kitties on the top right, that's Sky on the right. She was mine originally. She's our oldest. Yasmina on the left was Omar's originally. And then Asuli we adopted together. He's our youngest, little 2-year-old boy. They make life crazy. Down here is some of my family. They came out to visit in May for Omar's PhD graduation. I love teaching. I love teaching chemistry specifically, and I'm excited for this semester. I think we all feel that hype at the beginning of a new school year. Maybe it's hype, maybe it's anxiety. Either way, your body doesn't know the difference, so just call it excitement. Organic Chemistry 2 was one of the most challenging classes for me to teach initially because I felt a little out of my depth. I didn't quite know the reason why we have all these reactions, the application of all these reactions. Over the past few years, I've come to learn that it's not so much, in my opinion, it's not so much about what all these reactions can be applied to, because very few of you are ever going to actually utilize any of the reactions we learn about today, this semester. It's about understanding how organic molecules behave. And we're going to investigate a lot of different ways that organic molecules interact with each other and all the cool things that they can do. A raise of hands, how many people have already taken or are currently also taking biochemistry? Yeah, about half the class. In it right now? Yeah? A lot of the chemistry that we cover has some really important applications or analogs in biochemistry. So be paying attention for the ways that your biochemistry class relates. And take good notes if you're going to take biochemistry in the future, because this is a good class to come and review when you're in biochemistry. I want to hear from you guys a little bit about these things you filled out. What are you excited about for this class?
Reading on the syllabus, the immediate feedback on our homework to help reinforce what we learned.
That's right. So by enrolling in my section, you have paid an additional course fee, about $40 for access to Active. And Active tells you whether you answered the question right or not. I think also I have fewer homework questions than most professors that give textbook questions from the back of the book or the end of the chapter questions. So you'll see fewer homework questions. Sometimes that's a challenge because it means less practice. And we know that doing well in organic chemistry is all about practice. Because of that, I've actually provided all of my old homework assignments on Canvas. I used to not give out, I used to not do online homework. Hi, I've got some seats here and in the back. I used to hand grade all my homework. That got to be really hard to do. So I rely on Active now to give you guys that instant feedback, but you still have plenty of resources for practice. Could you pass that back to him? Thank you. What else? So you're excited about instant feedback, which is great. I'm glad to hear that. What else are you excited about for this class?
I'm actually just excited to learn in person again. I've been out of school for quite some time. I did take Gen Chem 2 last semester in the summer, but it was online and it wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a good time.
I agree. I have a very hard time learning online. And something about the ability to connect with other people and be there in person, it's helpful. Anything you're worried about in this class? So synthesis is something that I call creative thinking. You guys are probably familiar with hearing about critical thinking. I think the distinction between critical thinking and creative thinking is how good of a grasp do you have on your toolbox? How many reactions that we've learned and reviewed do you actually understand and know how to apply to your functional groups? So when you are solving synthesis, and you'll do a lot of synthesis this semester, I want you to feel a little bit like an artist and a little bit like a scientist, because doing synthesis is a little bit of both. Synthesis is a real concern. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the hardest things, and it's something that's hard to teach, the art of creative thinking. So we'll have time to practice it this semester. What else?
Taking it with biochem and having that be a problem rather than helpful.
I think the only problem you'll run into by taking OChem 2 and biochem at the same time is just the workload, or maybe even the lack of workload. My understanding is that biochem, I assume you're at the U, you'll have no homework this semester. Is that right? You'll just have a grade that's based on exams. So you have an expectation of work to do in my class. I have homeworks, pre-reading quizzes, unit tests, and exams. And if you meet those expectations, you're usually in a good place to do well in the class. I think the challenge comes from biochem more than from my class, where you need to self-allocate time and energy to making sure you're on top of the material before you get to those high-stake and only grade point exams. But in terms of the content, I think they will support each other more than hurt each other.
I took OChem 1 12 years ago. How bad is this about to be? So that's what I'm worried about.
Our first unit, and I've allocated 3 weeks to it, but I don't think we're going to take 3 weeks. I think we're actually going to move through the first unit, I'm hoping, in 2 weeks. I've allocated the first unit to OChem 1 review. So starting my OChem 2 class, you are essentially recapping OChem 1. How many of you took OChem 1 here at Slick? Okay, that was a lot of hands. How many did not take OChem 1 here at Slick? Okay, that was still a good number of hands. So one of the reasons I like to do an OChem 1 review is because not all of us have had the same OChem 1 experience. Some of us have had OChem 1 from other professors other than myself. And other institutions have a different decision about what gets included at the end of OChem 1 and what gets included at the beginning of OChem 2. So we're going to do 3 weeks of review to make sure that we're all on the same page. That means there's going to be things I'm going to be teaching some of you for the first time. And for others of you, it'll be absolutely a review of things you've already seen. That just gives us the time to all be on the same page. And it sets the expectation of what you're going to be doing the rest of the semester as well. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add before we move on?
For those of us who took OChem 1 here at SLIC, you mentioned the Francis Carey Organic Chemistry 12th edition. Is 11th edition okay?
Yes, I actually do not require that it's the Francis Carey textbook. I find that almost every textbook is going to prepare you equally as well. So if you have an older edition from your other class, that's great. If you've purchased it from the bookstore already, I don't know, maybe ask if you can return it, because I know it can be expensive to buy it new. In fact, I even have a link to a free online textbook. Some students have claimed, and I've never seen this validated, and I will never admit to seeing it validated. Some students claim that there are online versions of Francis Carey and free online versions of Mastering Organic Chemistry. No, sorry, Organic Chemistry is a second language. So make friends with your classmates in case they have more information about that stuff. Yeah, in my opinion, a textbook is useful because it gives you examples, definitions, and it tells a story. But also my job this semester is to give examples, definitions, and tell a story. So I see the textbook a little bit as my competitor, but also I see the textbook as somewhere that I can send you to get a preamble of what we're going to be covering and put some question marks in your head. Make you confused about those concepts so that you can come into me and listen to the story that I tell and answer a lot of those questions. The pre-reading quizzes are not necessarily based on any specific textbook. That does make it a little bit challenging because the section number might not actually relate to a specific chapter number. But if you flip through a textbook that you have, or even take the pre-reading questions and just put them into Google and get an idea of what the expectation is, you'll find the answer to the pre-reading quizzes. The pre-reading quizzes are not meant to challenge you on your understanding of concepts. The pre-reading quizzes are meant to expose you to the concepts. And like I said, every textbook exposes you to the same concepts, usually in about the same order as well. Thank you for asking that. I'd like to hear a little bit about what you think organic chemistry is. Did you guys have time to fill this in? Yeah, it looks like you did. Can I hear some things? Carbon. Great. More than carbon. More than that. Hydrocarbons. Organic chemistry is defined as the study of hydrocarbons and their derivatives. Hydrocarbons are things like alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, nothing but hydrogen and carbon. Your petroleum jelly, your Vaseline, pretty much just hydrocarbons. Everything else are the derivatives, things that contain oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, halogens. All of those other elements besides hydrogen and carbon we call heteroatoms. Did I start the recording? Sure did. By the way, I'm going to try and record our lectures this semester and post them to YouTube, not as a requirement for the class, but as a additional resource in case you miss lecture, or actually what I hear students use it for the most is to review lecture, especially those of you with long commutes. I've had students that just put on the most boring playlist of OChem lecture and listen to it on their commute. But I can't guarantee that my audio is going to work every time or that the video is going to work every time. There's always little glitches that happen. Okay, what else? Give everyone else a chance, Gavin. When you say electron transfer,
Arrow pushing stability resonance one.
okay, I like this. No, but actually those are two different things. I'm just gonna put electrons. That is very central to organic chemistry. And I'm gonna say electron pushing and electron delocalization. And I like that word delocalization. It really packs a punch. But I think a lot of times we just take it at face value. Whatever, it's a word, it's a term. But it literally means not localized. I think that's a beautiful thing. Spent a lot of time on my honeymoon in Thailand looking at waves. And I think waves are delocalized. If you looked out in the ocean, could you tell me where a wave is? Could you tell me where it begins and where it ends? Or is it just kind of an ambiguous feature of energy transfer? Ambiguous is not the word I wanted. Amorphous. Amorphous is not quite the word I want either, but somewhere in there it starts with an A, I'm sure. Okay, a lot of electrons. What else? Can we get 5? There's like 30 of you in here. We can get 5.
Acid-base chemistry.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys picked up on this in OChem 1, but half of organic chemistry is acid-base. This semester, you will be asked to master a handful of arrow-pushing mechanisms. And there's one mechanism where almost every other step is just proton donation and proton accepting. Protonation, deprotonation. Protonate, attack, deprotonate. Protonate, attack, deprotonate. It's a lot of acid base. We'll talk about acids and bases. What else? 2 more.
I just put reactions.
A lot of reactions, some that are named after what they do and some that are named after dead men. I will try to give you both the names of the dead men because a lot of entrance exams expect you to know that, but I'll also try to give you the name of what it's doing because I expect you to understand that. Does that make sense? When it comes to reactions, there's 3 components: starting material, reagent, and product. Sometimes that reagent actually includes a solvent. Sometimes the solvent doesn't specifically matter, and so we can show a solvent. We can opt out of showing a solvent. When it comes to the starting material and the products, though, it's all about functional groups. And so my biggest tip to you on understanding all the reactions that we're going to learn and all the reactions we're going to review is make sure you know your functional groups. If you cannot name a functional group in the molecule you're analyzing, you will have a very hard time predicting what reaction is going to happen and how that reaction happens. I've recently updated my functional groups table. Those of you in my OChem 1 class this summer know that. And it maybe was too much to chew in the OChem 1 class, but truly everything that I have on there is going to show up at some point in our OChem 2 class. So get to know that functional group sheet that I have on Canvas until you know all of them. Quiz each other. Have your families quiz you. Have your friends quiz you. Have your coworkers quiz you. But that also means spending some time to make materials that can make it quizzable. Actually, another challenge with the functional groups is the way that I give it to you is a generic form and then in a specific molecule. If you just memorize the generic form every time, it can be hard to pick it out of a specific molecule. So try just Googling organic molecules and just scrolling through them and see how many functional groups you can name. Okay, one more.
Nomenclature.
Nomenclature is great, right? I've heard that you either love nomenclature or you hate nomenclature. I love nomenclature. Common names get you nowhere. So systematic naming makes a lot of sense. This semester, we are going to do nomenclature review from OChem 1, so that includes alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, alcohols, and alkyl halides, and EZ configurations and RS configurations. This semester, we'll learn the nomenclature of carbonyls, carboxylic acids, esters, amides, nitriles, acid halides, acid anhydrides, aldehydes, ketones, and we'll learn the nomenclature of aromatic rings, benzenes predominantly. In my opinion, it's not as challenging as your first time learning nomenclature. You've already got a grasp on it, but we'll do some review of OChem 1 nomenclature before we ever get into new nomenclature to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, anything else you guys want to add to that? Something you think that fits in well? All right, well, I want to talk with you guys about expectations. Whose classroom is this? Is it mine or yours?
Ours.
Thank you, Gavin. This is our classroom. I have a role in it, and you each have a role in it. So we need to agree on how we expect to interact with each other in this classroom, right? One of the first expectations that I like to set is a cell phone policy. If I see your cell phone, I will take it and I will throw it away. No, I don't care, actually. I like to tell this story. I had a 1 p.m. Calc 2, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it was spring semester, so by the end of it, I was having lunch on Friday afternoon with my friends out on the grass, and then I went into an air-conditioned building to fall asleep listening to my Polish instructor talk about integrals. And I would have slept through every single Friday lecture if I hadn't sat on my phone playing games. Staying on my phone kept me awake. And because I was awake, albeit distracted, I was able to actually pay attention to the important things that came up. I was able to engage in the questions and take down notes that I thought I needed to have. So I have no problem with you being on your cell phone, except if you're disrupting me, but more so if you're disrupting your neighbors from learning. I had a colleague that actually pushed back on this and said, no, if they're on their phone, they're disrupting their neighbors. I don't know. Are you ever disrupted when someone on the bus is on their phone or someone on a plane next to you is on the phone? I like notice it and don't really care. If I've got something else that I want to do, I tend to not care. So if you are being disrupted by your neighbor being on their phone, would you let me know about it? Or maybe even initiate a conversation with them and say, the way that you're on your phone is distracting to me. Could we sit in different places? Could you do that at a different time? Let's be okay having cordial conversations with each other when it means bettering the learning environment. But in my opinion, cell phones with the volume off and you're just scrolling, not usually that disruptive. Okay. Expectations about food. Some of these rooms say things like no food or drinks in them. Sometimes they don't. I particularly don't mind if you are having a snack or even having dinner. But if it smells too yummy, I might ask for a bite. So you can expect to have your dinner in here. I understand that this is dinner time. Some of you are coming straight from work. How many of you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Coming straight from work. Are you really going to wait until 8 o'clock to start your meal prep once you get home? I don't ask you to. I don't expect you to. So if you want to bring dinner to class, I actually would appreciate the fuel in your body to keep you attentive during class. On that note of cordial conversations, please be respectful of each other. I encourage discourse, communication during class. I want you guys to feed off each other, ask follow-up questions, answer each other's questions. But I need it to be respectful. And I will call you out if it's not respectful so that we can set a boundary when it needs to be set. Thank you, Andrew. So please communicate, build relationships, And please keep those relationships cordial. You guys don't have to be friends, but you have to respect each other. That's my expectation. An expectation about entering and exiting. I personally am not distracted by students coming and going. And okay, maybe sometimes I am, but it doesn't annoy me. If you are coming from a class or coming from work and you're held up, please come in. This is your classroom. I want you to be here, and I'd rather you're here later than never, right? If you need to leave early because you've got another class or you've got another obligation, just quietly pack up and head out. I promise you, I'm not offended. If you need to sleep, I'm not offended by that either. I'll take it as a badge of honor that you consider this a safe place to get your beauty rest. Expectations that you guys want to set for our classroom. Actually, I've got one more. Cold calling. I like to cold call. But I also don't mind if you say no. Or pass. Pass it to someone. That could be fun. Are you guys okay if I cold call you to answer a question in class so long as you have the right to say no? Why do I cold call? Why does anybody cold call?
I don't mind it as long as I have the tools to answer the question.
Okay.
You feel ill-equipped.
Now, sometimes the tool is the knowledge, right? I just need to know it. And remembering it can be really hard. You've got to dig it out. And sometimes you're going to make mistakes trying to get the right answer. Those mistakes are super important. If I don't cold call on you, I'm not giving you that opportunity to try and remember it, to make that mistake so that you can realize what that mistake was and be better off for it. Me cold calling you is not like a disfavor to you. In my opinion, it's actually an opportunity, a learning opportunity. How about this? You want to answer something. I've cold called on you or you raise your hand, but you're almost positive that your answer is wrong. Do you believe that your mistake, your wrong answer, will hurt the learning of your classmates? No. Do you think that your wrong answer will better the learning of your classmates?
Yeah.
Then say the wrong answer, please. It oftentimes shows me what you guys are understanding and what holes I can fill better. It teaches me new things. I don't see chemistry the same way that you guys do. I try to remember as best I can what it's like to be in organic chemistry for the first time, but I can't exactly see it the way you do unless you share even your misconceptions with me. So I'd love to cold call. I'm happy for you to say no, but don't say no just because you think you're wrong. That's fine. That's maybe better than fine. That's great. Be wrong. And then we'll find the answer. Okay. Other things. Elvira.
Attendance.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I do not expect attendance. I don't know. Honestly, you guys are just as much as adults as much as I am. So me requiring attendance feels a little bit like forcing you to be my best friends or something. You know, like you have to be here and you have to hang out with me. No, not forcing you to pay. It's like paying people to be your friends. Me forcing you to come in, I think is a discredit to your ability to be an adult. So I do my best to record the lectures. I can't guarantee that they're perfect. I do have a number of past semesters that are already recorded on YouTube, so you can find usually a replicate lecture if something fails on my end. But for those of you that work all day long and you just don't want to come to class at the end of it, That's okay. Don't come. But if you are not someone that can learn online, if you find that you're struggling by watching the recordings, please make the best decision for yourself. Try to come back in person. 2 years ago, taught in this classroom in the fall semester, and my 2 highest scoring students on the final, I saw on the first day of class, I saw on the midterm exam, and I saw at the final. On the other hand, some more of the highest scoring students were here every single day. And some of the lowest scoring students I saw on the first day of the midterm and the final, and some of the lowest scoring students I saw here every single day. Attendance does not predict your grade in my class. It just doesn't. I wish I could say it did. I wish I could say come every day and you'll get an A, but it just doesn't mean that you will. Often what gets you the A in the class is the effort you put in outside of class. Do you guys know how many hours you should be working on OChem 2 outside of our 4 hours of lecture? 4 hours per credit. So you should be putting in something like 16 hours. Where are you going to find 16 hours? Well, you're working 40 hours a week already, and then coming into night lecture for 4 hours a week. You don't get a weekend, do you? And you don't get to have an evening on Monday or Wednesday evening either, because you're going to be working to prepare for this class. I know that's a lot. And I think you can get away with less than 16. But if you want to guarantee you get an A, I mean, I can't even say that's a guarantee. I know it's hard, but the more time you commit to it, the more you're practicing, the more likely you are to get the grade that you want in this class. So be mindful of how much time you're actually spending outside of class on this class. And if you come to me and say, I've run out of things to work on, I'm trying to spend 16 hours a week, I'm running out, I doubt it. I'll find you things that you can do. Okay, other things you want to add? Attendance was a great one, thank you.
Are quizzes or tests in person or online?
Good question. Actually, why don't I save that one until I have you guys review the syllabus, and then after you review the syllabus, we'll kind of tackle those in larger chunks, because I think you'll find the answer there. Other things, expectations for class.
Late assignments, what's the policy on those?
Let's talk about that after the syllabus review too. That's great. Okay, I want to give you guys 5 minutes with the people around you, explore the syllabus. Well, I really hope I posted it. Thank you. Explore the syllabus, and this is that next line on there. Find 3 things. Maybe those are all things that you're excited about, confused about, or missing. Things that you thought the syllabus was going to tell you that the syllabus didn't tell you. Let's do it quick, a quick 5-minute reconnaissance, and then we'll dive back in.
Oh, yeah, please, go ahead.
Oh, I know what I forgot. Yeah, it is. It was my little sheets. Okay, you know what? While you guys do this, I'm going to run back to my office. I'll be right back.
actually like really nice. Due dates for everything. So 10% is for reading, homework is 20%, unit tests are 30%,
Okay,
and
so
class
they
6%, and exams, 2 of them. That doesn't make sense.
They're really useful, although sometimes when you're writing them on a paper, they're like so big, it's.
We have a midterm.
And they're really like,
Is the final due?
I don't know, they've got me like.
You were all loud and unsure.
Yeah. I can show you mine. Sprint to your office? That was fun.
No, actually I walked, but it's not far. I walked fast.
Oh, if you're in final, is a higher score, you'll drop. If your final is higher than your midterm, I think you drop.
Well, it looks like it just says.
Oh, your whole grade.
If your final grade is higher than
So,
Okay, your class grade.
so say you have like a CM
as long as you've like done all of them.
Yeah. See, it works.
Did anybody not get one of these little slips? You guys got enough slips? Did you guys get a slip? You did not, okay. If you guys would just give me a little bit of information about yourselves on these little slips of paper. I know some of you have like numbers and some of you have writing. It's just scrap paper. But just fill out a little bit about yourselves. I'm going to collect those at the end. That's also your attendance for today. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to like silence. It's not a rush.
You just command that much respect.
I am. Thank you. It was Frankenstein.
All Frankenstein.
No, I know, I believe that.
I did like 6 of the practice.
Oh, that's my fault. I only did 2.
Exactly the first page when I was reviewing right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the multiple choices, or like the answers for some of them were the same.
No, the entire exam.
It was all the same.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd ever done it. Can you guess why I did it?
Because you left us hanging. Because you were in Thailand.
Mm-hmm. And you guys did great. 83% average on a final.
If you hadn't done that, I don't think it would have been that good though.
I don't know. I've gotten an 83% final average before. But,
But I feel like people were definitely confused.
okay, well, I did the same thing for my OChem 2 final. What do you think their average was?
Oh, don't tell me.
64. A third of my class failed. Made me feel like I had a class full of no one preparing. Yeah. Okay, actually, if you averaged my 2 class, it averaged a 75.
Perfect.
Yeah, but, and it was pretty much the same experience. OChem 1 had a Frankenstein exam. Every question was from an old exam. OChem 2 had a Frankenstein exam. You guys won't get that this fall, I'm sorry. I'm not planning on going on another honeymoon. I'm not planning on leaving you 2 weeks before the final, so I'm gonna write you a real exam. But yeah, I felt bad, and clearly I should have felt worse for OCHM 2. Don't know. Anyways. Yeah. So I gave it an 11% curve to the final for OCHM 2, 64 to a 75 average. And of the third of the class that failed, one student moved from a failing grade to a D. The rest of the class that failed stayed failing after an 11% curve. I don't think that they used my old exams that are on Canvas to study. I don't think they prepared. I did actually have one student that turned in 0 pre-reading quizzes. That's 10% of your grade. And 0 homeworks. That's 20% of your grade. So if that student had aced the unit tests and the midterm and the final, they could have at best gotten a 70%. Do you think they aced the midterm or the final? No.
Did they take them?
Yeah, they took both. Yep. So, what can you? I can only lead you to water. I cannot make you drink it. If I try to make you drink it, it'll look like I'm just drowning you. So. All right, let's talk a little bit about the syllabus, and then we're going to do some introductions. What are things that stand out to you from the syllabus? Or things that you feel like are missing from the syllabus?
I feel like a really big one was, you mentioned molecular stencils.
Yeah.
I don't see any mention of a model kit. Will the stencils or model kits be allowed on the exams?
Ah, good question. I don't mention the modeling kits. No, I do. On the actual exam, I do allow a modeling kit. I've almost never seen a modeling kit be useful. But it's more so in OCHM 1, it can be useful. I don't think anyone in our summer class brought a modeling kit to the midterm. It's almost never advantageous. It's more useful when you're learning the three-dimensional shape of a molecule. And then once you've mastered that, it becomes more just like a toy, a fun thing to have. So you are allowed to have a modeling kit on the exams. I don't think you'll need one. Good question.
Are the quizzes and end of unit tests open note? I know they're timed, but
Yes. So let's talk about the assignments. 10% of your assignments are pre-reading quizzes. And in fact, the idea of pre-reading quizzes is the name is a little confusing. It's not a quiz you take before you read. It's a quiz you take on the readings before class. So it's the pre-class reading quiz. These do not close until December 15th at 5:50 p.m. Any idea what happens December 15th at 5:50 p.m.? Final exam. You can take these pre-reading quizzes up until you sit for the final exam. That is the point at which they stop being useful to you. That student that didn't turn any actually asked if they could turn them in to try and get their grade up. And I said yes. And you know how many they turned in? None. Let me tell you, when students ask, I usually answer. And a lot of times I find that they didn't mean to ask. I don't know. I encourage you to do the readings before class so that you get confused. Then you can come into class and get less confused by hearing an explanation about those things that confused you. If you don't read before you come into class, you'll get confused in class. Then you're going to need to go and do the readings after class to get less confused. Either way works. I recommend doing the reading before, but I don't have a due date. Well, no, that's not true. I have a due date on Canvas to keep you on track. But the close date is the final exam. The next heaviest assignment is your homework. Those of you that had my OCHM 1 already know that I use Active as an online homework platform. I'm going to check in. You have an active assignment that is due Friday, Introduction to Active. It should be very simple. If you do nothing else, do that assignment by Friday. I'm actually going to check in on Friday to see who has activated their active accounts and who has not.
Nothing's on active.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's nothing there.
I made the course.
I know.
I
you can get
imported
into
the
course,
content.
but there's nothing.
Oh, it's because the due dates. Okay, I haven't set the due dates. And because of that, yeah, it's going to look like it's dead.
You get like November, there's like no quizzes or active assignments.
Whoops. Okay. I will get the dates fixed tomorrow. But this weekend, I'm going to try and check in on those. I have made this mistake of not checking that everyone has made their active account, assuming that by the time you get to OCHEM 2, you are responsible enough to take care of your homework. I'm going to try and do better about that and check in that you guys are all doing it. In addition to online homework, you will have roughly one homework assignment per unit, written work. That's because active is not the best. No online homework is the best at having you do pen and paper things like synthesis and mechanisms. Also, I want to give you direct feedback myself and not rely on the feedback that active auto-generates when it comes to mechanisms and synthesis, because those are, in my opinion, the two most challenging and unique parts of organic chemistry. So, Unit 1, you will be solving a number of mechanisms from OCHEM 1. You'll turn that in so that I can grade it before the unit test. And so on. I think Unit 4 has 2 written works, but Unit 4 is also our longest unit. And then Unit 5 has 0, so it is roughly 1. The next heaviest assignment is the unit test category. 2 parts. Part A, multiple choice. 10 or so multiple choice questions, 60 minutes, 2 attempts. These questions come from question banks regarding a specific learning outcome. I have several questions in those banks that are similar, sometimes very similar, but distinct. So you need to pay attention to make sure the wording hasn't changed, because it might be the exact same image with a different question that's being asked. When you take the second attempt, you'll have a chance to see what questions did you get right, what questions did you miss. When you take that second attempt, you will be looking at an entirely new quiz with the same concepts. So it will really prove that you have mastered a concept and not just mastered a question. That's the distinction from your homework. On the homework, you get to answer the same question as much as you want until you mastered that question. The unit test gives you a chance to master a concept. Keeps the highest grade. So if you get a 10 out of 10 on the first attempt, should you or should you not take the second attempt? Why not? Can it hurt you? Absolutely not. If you do worse, it drops. If you do worse, it shows you there were concepts you didn't actually master. You thought you'd mastered it because you got it right. Now to someone's question earlier, this is Open Note. I do not use Lockdown Browser because I personally am not a fan of Lockdown Browser. When you tell anyone that you want to prohibit their behavior in some way, it doesn't usually lead to good outcomes. So rather than saying you are not allowed to use the internet and therefore you have to go through Lockdown Browser, I'm just pushing students to find ways to get around Lockdown Browser. So no Lockdown Browser, but no internet either. Please. I can usually tell on Part B, which is the written work, because a lot of times students provide reagents that I don't give in class. I don't know where you got that reagent from, if not the internet. Or maybe you took this at another institution, but that means you're just reviewing your notes from someone else. Review my notes, or rather your notes from my class. So Part B, also 60 minutes, 1 attempt. This is where I ask you to solve a mechanism or a synthesis, oftentimes both. In Unit 1, it's something like 2 mechanisms and a acid base or resonance question. They are meant to challenge you. There are 5 of them. They are meant to challenge you, but they are meant to challenge you prior to the high stakes exams, the midterm and the final. Those make up 40% of your grade. A little under 20% is the midterm. A little more than 20% is the final. And that's just because the midterm has fewer points than the final, but they sit in the same category. So the midterm makes up just under 20% of your grade.
When you said unit test, there's a part A and a part B in both, so you get 60 minutes for part A, 60 minutes for part B?
You could, in theory, spend 3 hours on the 2 attempts of part A and part B. But I rarely find students spend that much time on it. So 60 minutes each. Part B requires an upload. So in those 60 minutes, you have to try and squeeze in taking a picture of your work or saving a file if you're doing it on an electronic device and uploading it into Canvas. I am generous in that if you take the full 60 minutes to do the problems, and then you can upload your work as soon as possible after that, I will give you the benefit of the doubt and I'll take it. So that usually means by, okay, you finished the exam, or your time ended at 5. If you've got it posted as a comment on the quiz at 5:05, or I've got a message in my inbox at 5:10, then benefit of the doubt that you were taking your time taking the picture and then it took some time to send, right? I had a student misunderstand this in the spring, and when his 60 minutes timed out, he thought he had another 60 minutes to finish the question and take the picture and upload it. I'm not sure how I gave him that impression. So you have 60 minutes, but I give you some wiggle room on the uploading side. Did that answer your question? Okay. Low stakes. Do them as many times as you want. Mid stakes. No late points. Low stake assignments have no late points. You can turn in all of your homework up until the final exam. And I hope there's no bad advice floating around. I heard students got bad advice recently. Don't wait until the end of the semester to do all your homework. Oh my God. You're not going to do well on the unit tests or the midterm. You can, I don't know, someone in my spring semester said that someone from a fall semester said that they should do all their homework right before the final. Don't. Do your homework when it's due. Even if you do it poorly and you get a bad grade on it, you can come back and redo it later. That's great. But do it. And I do call you out if you don't do it. I leave a comment and I say, please submit this. But after that, it's your responsibility. I gave you a due date and I commented on it telling you that you missed it. Do you need me to show up at your house and hold your hand while you do it? I don't think so. I believe in you. Low stakes assignments, a lot of opportunity to master it. Mid-stake assignments, some opportunity to master, some time limit, no extensions. And that's not true. Oftentimes when a student misses a unit test, I reach out and give them one opportunity to retake that unit test for points. After I give that opportunity once, I will still give you the opportunity to submit a unit test for feedback, but I will not give you points on your work. In my opinion, the points are only half the problem. The feedback is the most important part. I get to give you feedback on your written work. I get to give you feedback on your unit tests. I don't give you a lot of feedback on your exams. It's either you got it right or you got it wrong. So low stakes and mid stakes assignments, that's where I give you the most feedback. I want you to be doing them so I can be giving you feedback. Exams, high stakes, a lot of points, one chance to do it. Our midterm exam will be in our classroom the Thursday after fall break. We will use the Monday after fall break to review for the midterm, and then the Thursday after fall break to take the midterm. And it'll be a 90-minute exam, so we'll start around 15 minutes after, and then we'll go for 90 minutes. The final exam is also in here, but that time is set by the college. So because of our start time, it's not actually at 5 p.m., it's at 5:50 on December 15th, a Tuesday. That's our assignment layout. There's one other set of assignments called Analysis of an Organic Compound. You will pick a compound this semester that applies to your life. I recommend picking something that applies to your field. If I end up writing you a letter of recommendation in the future, it's really nice to say, this is the compound they analyzed because they had foresight about what they'd be working with in the future. They wanted to apply the class to their career. The first submission is just choosing a compound. I recommend submitting 2 or 3 because if your compound doesn't involve the chemistry that we're going to do, it's not a good choice. And how are you supposed to know whether it involves the chemistry we're going to do? So give me a couple of options so that I can say, yes, these are going to work. Then you have another one coming up towards the end of our first unit that involves OChem 1 review, functional groups, IR spectroscopy, stuff like that. Okay? Other questions that you guys have on the course?
Just a quick side note, I tried to get into active. There's a join course button asking for a course code. Maybe that's why things aren't posting yet.
Who figured this out in the summer? There's another button, launch, instead of join.
I just clicked the class too. It said like 10, 20, 320.
The name of the class is a link itself?
Yeah, that looks like that's the case.
Good. You should not pay for anything. You've already paid for it. So if you are clicking a button that brings you to a paywall, click other buttons.
It's not a paywall, it's asking for the course code for some reason.
Oh, okay. Which kind of feels like a paywall.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like, click the name of the class. Sounds like that worked?
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The pre-readings have unlimited attempts?
Unlimited attempts.
Okay.
And the homework. Okay, no, that's not true. On active, it's something like 15 attempts. I used to set it to 100, and then students were like, I just want to give up. But it won't let me give up until I use up all my attempts. So active has 15 attempts. To be honest, if you've used 8 attempts on active, stop and ask me for help. 9 times out of 10, it's lone pairs. Active is marking you as wrong because it wants you to have lone pairs, and it's just not telling you to have lone pairs. And if you are going to send me a screenshot asking for help, please don't send me your most recent wild guess at how to submit it. Send me your best guess, because that will show me whether you actually understand it. I've gotten students that are like, I try submitting this and it won't take it. And I'm like, well, first of all, your regiochemistry is wild. Why are you putting halogens on that part of the molecule? And they're like, I'm just trying anything. I don't blame you, but show me your best guess, because usually your best guess is right, and active is just glitching a little bit. So send me your best guess, and I'll help you figure out what the problem is. With the written work, unlimited attempts. I think the most I've ever regraded an assignment is 5 or 6 times until that student mastered the mechanism. That's what I'm going for. Please, please resubmit until you've mastered it. I don't want you to get to the midterm and be like, I never figured this out. I'm not even going to try. And that happens. I have students that turn in the midterm with nothing on the mechanism and synthesis page. They just leave it blank. I don't want you to get to that point. I want you to at least try, because it's coming back for the final, and I want you to master it by the final.
Are synthesis, are they all or nothing? Like, or written questions?
No, definitely partial credit. And oftentimes I assign points to mechanisms and synthesis based on the components. So points that go towards arrows and intermediates. I've told students before, if you give me a mechanism and it includes all of the intermediates but none of the arrows, that's 50% of the credit right there. But if you show me a mechanism that has the wrong number of steps, you can usually figure that out based on the points that are assigned to it. You know you're going to be missing points because you haven't actually shown all of the steps for it. We'll go through mechanisms tirelessly in this class. and I give you a pattern for mechanisms, I expect you never deviate from that pattern. I don't ever want you to think that you need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to solving a mechanism. You just need to be able to apply it to something that is not isomorphic to the problem we did in class. I'm not going to give you the same molecule. You just have to be able to fit the patterns to the next molecule. What else?
On the syllabus, under like the assignments part, it lists all the assignments. And the due dates, they start in June and end in September.
Yeah.
When was the last time you checked it?
Right now.
No, that's crazy. I spent hours today redoing the dates. Oh, no. Okay. Some of them are in June. Some of them are not. I think that when I copied in the course, it copied the old active assignments and their due dates. So it's just the active assignments that are out of alignment. If you look at like analysis of an organic compound, does that have a normal due date?
Due tomorrow.
Good. I thought I said it to next week. Okay, next week.
Yeah.
I love simple syllabus. Said no one ever. Okay, so those dates will get fixed once I delete them from Canvas and then import the new ones from active once I've set the new due dates on active. Thank you for pointing that out. Anything else? Love awkward silence. All right, well, I would love to get a chance to get to know each of you. So if I'm gonna give us some time to go around the room and share some of that information that you just wrote down. But first, a recap. My name is John. My career path was to become a chemistry professor. And my fun fact is that on my honeymoon, I got both my first tattoo and my first stitches.
In the same place.
No, different times. We rented a motorbike and crashed it. My husband got 17 stitches in his arm, and I got 7 stitches on my shin.
We've got matching stitches.
Matching tattoos and matching stitches, yeah. Yeah, beat that. Okay, and I'm just gonna write down some of the some information about you guys so that I can get to know you better as well. Could we start here and snake our way through the 3 rows? You don't have to share a fun fact. I guarantee you all have something fun to say, but you don't have to. But if you could just give me a little bit about yourselves.
My name's Carl. I'm a pure chemistry major. My plan for my career is to move into medicinal chemistry and work for drug manufacturers. Fun fact about me is I used to play competitive Magic the Gathering.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you, Carl.
My name's Kayana. I finished my microbiology or my master's in microbiology and infectious disease like 5 years ago. So it's nice to jump back to school. I'm applying to veterinary school for next year. I'll be starting next fall if I get in. My fun fact is I have a dermacentor androstenolite tattoo, which is my favorite tick. You guys
Oh my goodness. You have a favorite tick?
I do. I studied ticks at the state lab for 2 years.
Wow. So what disease do they carry?
Rocky Mountain spotted fever and Colorado tick fever virus.
Great. Just the best ones.
Yep, that's the most common tick in Utah, so watch out.
Thank you, Kayana.
My name is Mary. I'm trying to go to med school next year, applying in the spring. So I graduated 4 years ago with a bachelor's in kinesiology. So just finishing up the extra chemistry I need. Fun fact, I have genetic hearing loss, which is pretty rare for my age.
Is it progressive? Like,
It's progressive, there's nothing they can do about it, and it's conversational tones. So
Oh.
the best way I can describe it is if I take my hearing aids out, it sounds like the adults in the Peanuts cartoons. Like,
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
I can tell someone's talking, but I have no idea what they're saying. So I read lips a lot.
how old were you when you started to learn how to read lips? Yeah.
Cause I, like, as a child, I passed, like, as a newborn, I passed my newborn hearing test, but then once I hit, like, elementary school and they did the state hearing test, I failed every one of them.
Wow.
So that's when they were just like, hey, you have hearing loss. And then I just learned to deal with it.
Wow.
So.
Thank you, Mary.
I never learned sign language. I wish I had. But
There's still
always
time.
right?
Yeah, there's still time. Thank you, Mary.
Hi, I'm Candace. I just actually graduated from the U in biology, and
Congrats.
I want to go into dentistry. I want to be an orthodontist. So I'm taking all the more, I guess, prereqs for that, and then I'll be applying next year for that. And then, I guess fun fact, I got my first pet first year of college, like during finals week. Best decision of my life. Had a kitten just for running around. So that was fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Candace.
My name is Elvira. I've rerouted from PA to MD with an interest in OB. I don't know, fun fact.
What'd you have for breakfast?
I don't know. I coach climbing at Momentum,
Very cool. For what age group?
like between 3 and 18.
Oh, wow.
Depends. They're not all in the same class.
Sure. On belay. Belay on. Little 3-year-old. Thank you, Elvira.
My name's Gavin. My major is chemical engineer, but I just need a bachelor's to go to DPT school. That's actually what I want to do.
DPT.
Doctor of Physical Therapy.
Oh, yeah.
And fun fact, my dog is like mostly dingo, so that's kind of cool.
Dingo is Australian.
He's like American dingo, like yellow dog.
Wow.
Yeah, and like Kelpie, which is also like half dingo.
I don't think I'm thinking of something else. A dingo is an animal in Australia.
Yeah, like a wild dog.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, like dingo like a baby.
I thought it was a kangaroo.
No. they're like those like wild dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yellow, like wild dogs.
Wow.
Yappy. Yeah, he's so sweet.
Thank you, Gavin.
My name is Andrew Coleman. I graduated in 2012 with a bachelor's degree in political science and Spanish. Worked in marketing for 10 years, and I'm now going to vet school, which I just submitted my application for
Congrats.
a week ago. And my fun fact is, at one point I wanted to be a writer, and I've written 2 novels.
You've written 2 novels.
They're terrible.
That's really cool. I also wanted to be a writer, and I was in a class in high school that my teacher let me use it as a novel writing class. I realized how hard it is, and I gave up.
If any of you have heard of Brandon Sanderson, I audited his class at BYU.
Wow.
Very fun.
Thank you, Andrew.
Andrew Coleman.
Andrew, I'm working on the same application you just turned in. What's your top school you're applying to for veterinary?
Utah State's where I really want to go.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Well, I have a wife and 2 kids. Being local and cheap is really important to me.
Yeah. Takes all kinds, right? Thanks, Andrew.
I'm Leona. I graduated from the University of Oregon a while ago with a public health and global health degree, and then we had a global pandemic, which felt like a sick joke. And then I worked at a public health department and got really burnt out, and then I started ski patrolling. And I'm currently deciding between PA school and applying to PA school or getting an MD. If you know anyone who has insight on that, let me know. Yes, I'll be your first choice. And then my fun fact is way less fun than Andrew's, but I went to, actually I was visiting Vita over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
And I left my wallet on the plane, as I tend to do, and I realized, like, once I was at Logan
Oh,
in the airport,
no.
but I have an AirTag in it because I forget things everywhere, and so then I just saw that it was like near enough to where the lost and found stuff is, so I was like, I'll bet that's where it is, so I'll just leave it. So then I left it, and then
Wow.
went back 4 days later when I went back to the airport to get it, and it was there, and it was great, and I picked it up.
That is
and then
so
I was
trusting.
halfway through security and realized I left my entire bag at the desk And then I just picked up my wallet, so then I had to run back and get my bag, and then go back. It's really embarrassing.
By the way, Liana, I think talking with PAs and MDs would be the best way for you to decide which path you want to go to.
Say that if they could do it again, they would do the other one, and then when you really ask them, they're like, no.
I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Wow. Thank you, Liana.
I'm Gavin. I'll be starting med school in July. I graduated from the U with a degree in kinesiology, and a fun fact about me is that I played soccer at the U as well.
Oh, nice. How many years?
3.5. I don't really count the first one.
Yeah. That's cool. What position did you play?
Left back and center back. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what back means. It's been so long since I played soccer.
Back.
Defense. Defense. Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Gavin.
I'm Sebastian Morrison. I graduated, so I got my I got an MBA a couple years ago, but before that I was pre-dental. I worked in dental sales for a couple years, missed being with the patients, so now I'm working at Roseman Dental School trying to hopefully get in there. And my goal is, dentist. Let's see, my fun fact is I'm half Chilean, so I speak Spanish with my mom a lot, and I also speak Filipino.
Wow. Tagalog?
Cebuano.
Cebuano. Okay. Very cool. Thank you, Sebastian.
My name is James. For my career path, I am doing prereqs for medical school. I got a bachelor's in math a long time ago.
Oh, you guys weren't moving enough, I guess.
I got a bachelor's in math a long time ago, and then I joined the Navy and did that for 9 years. So, changing careers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what career could there have ever been in math anyways? I'm not sure, but
Fair point.
good to have you, James. Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Parker. I went to NYU for my undergrad, so I just moved back from New York last spring. It was like every rom-com ever. And then my major was global public health and applied psychology. And then I kind of was back and forth about what to do after. I couldn't decide between being a therapist or becoming a psychiatrist. So I moved back home because this is where I'm from, so I take some prereqs. And so I decided like the pre-med route. And then a fun fact about me is I run a support group for people with multiple sclerosis.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It's a virtual group once every 2 weeks, and they're from all across the country, and they're newly diagnosed, and they just want to hear about what it's like to have MS from someone who's like moving around.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm so sorry, I missed your name.
No, it's okay. My name is Parker.
Parker. Awesome. Very cool. Thank you, Parker.
Yeah.
I'm Gabby. I'm getting my prerequisites for pharmacy school, and I've had 96 surgeries.
Yeah. Wow.
My vascular birthmark.
What do you think
Not
you'll?
just for fun.
What will you? What will you do for your 100th to celebrate your 100th?
Well, hopefully I don't get that far.
Amen. That's what I like to hear. Thank you, Gabby.
My name's Hallie. I go to the U full time, but I came over here to take OChem too because it works better with my schedule with work. I'm a biochem major. I spent some time doing OChem research undergrad for the last couple of semesters at the U. Fun fact about me is that I'm scuba certified, but I've never been scuba diving.
You mean like out in the ocean?
Yeah. Yeah, like we had to do like dives to get certified.
Yep.
That was like twice.
Yeah.
I've never used it since.
If you could use it, where do you think you'd go in the world to dive?
I love Hawaii, so probably there.
Yeah. Yeah. Good choice, Hallie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Dylan, and I am a kinesiology major in the EMS program at the U, and I am also pre-med, so hopefully you're going to go to medical school in the next couple of years. And fun fact about me is that I'm actually a paramedic as well for UFA, which is basically like Salt Lake County down the street on Redwood Road.
Nice.
So yeah, don't crash your car. Well, I guess we realize we'll be meeting in a different way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
That apartment fire in your bill. Oh, that was not unfortunate that day. I was supposed to work. I had the day off, and my partner was like, we spent 10 hours on Zoom doing it.
wow.
Because we were on the handout. So.
In case you don't hear it enough, Dylan, thank you for the work that you guys do.
Yeah, we appreciate the support. So.
Absolutely. We need people like you. Thank you.
My name is Hung. My career path is the pharmacy, so I try to apply for pharmacy school next fall. Fun fact, I grew up in Vietnam. I just moved here a few years ago.
Very cool.
Yes.
You want to hear a fun fact from me? You're the second student I've met today named Hung from Vietnam. What are the odds? You got a doppelganger running around.
I mean, there's no fun fact. Since I studied right from elementary school to the university, I met 3 people that has the same first name, last name, middle name with me.
Oh my goodness.
Totally the same.
Good to have you, Hung. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Garrett. I am on a pre-med path. I'm kind of changing gears. I have a master's and bachelor's in music and other degrees in languages, but been working in prosthetics. I joke around, my dog and I are missing the same leg. And other fun fact is I used to be a professional opera singer.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. So your master's in music, was it emphasis in opera?
Yeah.
And what did you give as your master's performance? What song did you sing? I imagine
So
the capstone was singing.
the capstone was supposed to be a recital, but it was spring of 2020.
Oh, Garrett.
So I had one of my pieces was going to be a composition that I wrote my undergrad year. I took a 1,000-year-old Persian poem, translated it. Persian was my language for the military. I was in the Army for 8 years. So set that. It was to be for strings, choir, solo, soprano, solo, baritone. Had everybody together. We'd been rehearsing. That got shot down, and another Army veteran reached out to me and he said, "I've never had a soldier sing these songs." And he'd been working with a musician locally in Los Angeles, but he published this work of poetry after his first tour in Iraq. And he said it would be so amazing if you could sing this cycle. He's like, "I heard you're looking for stuff to do." So it's called the Hear Bullet cycle.
Hear bullet. Like hear, listen.
No, hear like, here I am,
Look.
bullet, come get me.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you, Garrett.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Ali, but I'm majoring in health sciences here at Slake. I'll be starting my pharmacy school in August next year. Fun fact, I played soccer for all of my life, and then I gave up since I started college because I was really bad at soccer. I played almost in every single position at the pitch. I did winger, I did defense, and at last I was a goalkeeper. I didn't really get, I didn't do any good. So it's like, I think soccer is not for me. I'm just gonna keep watching it, not play it.
So did you enjoy the World Cup this year?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, it was kind of odd. I mean, there was a lot of teams that I thought they were gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spain winning was not on the top of my head. They did really good. I mean, I wish that Argentina wins, but it happened.
Felt like it split the world, actually, right down the middle. And I'm sorry, one more time, your name?
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad. Oh, after the... No, I'm just kidding. Actually, are you Arab, Muhammad?
Yeah.
I'm learning to speak Arabic. I'm a student. Huh? Thank you. So I wonder if it feels like refreshing to hear your name pronounced with the right emphasis, which I can't do, but I could try. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Adi.
So it's like.
I know, and I am always trying, but thank you, Muhammad.
My name is Janelle. I am getting my associates in chemistry here with hopes to transfer to Oregon State University and get my bachelor's there. I'd like to do nuclear chemistry and hopefully work at a national lab. Fun fact about me is I have planted over 500,000 plants in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you even count up that high?
Well, my parents own like a nursery.
Mm.
I spent most of my summer planting plants, so you do math.
Thank you, Janelle.
My name is Estelle. I got my undergrad in math at the University of Oregon, and then I moved here like 2 years ago to start a PhD program in computer science. Realized I hated it, so I dropped out and got my master's. And during that time, I was also working at Huntsman Cancer Institute doing research, and that's how I fell in love with medicine. So I applied to med school this year.
Congratulations.
About me is I do CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting.
Wow. When you say Olympic weightlifting, like Team USA
Yes.
Olympic, so we've got 2 Olympians. Am I okay to say that? 2 Olympians in the classroom. That's one thing I really love about teaching in Salt Lake. It's a big hub for Olympians. Very cool. And not to throw you under the bus by saying there's nothing to do with math. Apparently a PhD in computer science. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Thank you, Estelle.
My name is Caroline. I'm getting my major in biology, transferring to UVU probably next semester. Trying to decide between pre-med and PA school. Hard decision. Fun fact, I'm from Venezuela. I moved to Utah about 5 years ago, and Spanish is my first language.
Very cool. Thank you, Caroline.
I'm Delaney. I'm pre-med, and fun fact is I like to bake.
When you say pre-med, are you torn between PA and MD?
No. Well, okay. That was my original plan, and then like 2 months before I graduated college, I changed my mind. So now I'm finishing prereqs.
Good. Yeah. You're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Good to have you, Delaney.
Thanks.
I'm Rowan. I'm a kinese major, or I guess I was. I just graduated.
Congrats.
Keeping the theme, I'm pre-med, so doing the prereqs. Fun fact about me is I like to travel, and I just went to the UK this summer, and last summer I went to Japan.
I'm pretty sure I had you in class all summer, so when did you
Like
go?
right before.
Is that why you were late by like a week?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't in the class the first week.
Yeah, now I get it. Very cool. Thank you, Rowan. Okay, thank you, everybody. I would like to transition us now to a short lecture. On the back of your syllabus intro worksheet, I also have an exercise. I want you to copy 2 of these mechanisms exactly. So there's 2 options from the top. Pick one. There's 2 options on the bottom. Pick one. I want you to copy them exactly. One of the reasons I want to try this exercise, I've not done it before. These are the answer key from the midterm and final exam over the summer. I think that you guys can copy it without understanding a thing of what's going on. I believe in you. I believe that you can copy it. But I also believe that you will miss little things. And I'm curious what little things you will miss. Are you going to miss the shape of the arrow, the way the arrow starts, the way the arrow ends, the number of bonds that are in there? There's so many lines. So this was an activity I thought we might have more time to do today, but in combination with my little lecture, I'm not sure. If you've heard my lecture before, feel free to just work on this. If you're not interested in my lecture, feel free to work on this. My lecture today actually utilizes the magnets that I gave you. Did anyone not get a magnet when you came in, or actually rather a pair of magnets. You all got one? Dylan needs one? You need a, you got one, okay. So there will be an interactive part, and I don't know, maybe I did a disfavor to myself by telling you to work on that copy thing. Listen, you don't have to turn these in either. It was really more for me to glance over and see what you are getting right, what you are not getting right. So if we don't have time to finish it today, if you would bring this back on Thursday and just give me a chance to glance over it. You're not graded on this. Maybe I'll give you some feedback if you want it, but I'm really just more interested. What is it that you can copy exactly, and where are the pitfalls that happen? I want to talk to you guys about the 4 fundamental forces. These are the forces that govern everything in physics. And the first one is the weakest. It's arguably not actually a force, and that is gravity. We all experience gravity. We're experiencing gravity right now. It's what makes sitting in a chair possible. The fact that gravity is pulling you down, but the chair is in your way, supported by the rest of the chair that is also held down by gravity. Gravity is described as a force in Newtonian physics, but gravity is not considered a force in quantum physics. Instead, gravity is actually just an experience. You are experiencing what we call gravity, but you're not actually under the force of gravity. You are experiencing warped space-time. As mass exists, it warps space and time around it, and moving through a straight line in warped space-time feels like being pulled down by gravity. Regardless, what are things that you know experience the force of gravity? Everything. I heard things with mass. So can you name some of those things real quick? Just the smallest things with mass. Protons, neutrons, electrons. Does that actually incorporate everything, or is there anything missing from that list? That certainly incorporates the fundamentals of mass, but does it incorporate everything? Light experiences gravity. How do we know this? Astronomers look into the night sky and they see, surrounding a dense galaxy, images of light warping around that galaxy from behind it. Gravitational lensing, they call it. So not only do things with mass experience gravity, light experiences gravity. And light, of course, has no mass, which is the proof that gravity is not a force partaking on mass, but much more likely a manifestation of warped space-time. Do you know what I've abbreviated light there as? It's not HV, it's h nu, the Greek letter. H stands for Planck's constant, and nu there is for the frequency of light. When you multiply h times nu, you're left with the energy of that light. So we use h nu throughout the semester to abbreviate light. The next fundamental force I want to tell you about is the weak nuclear force. The weak nuclear force is something, in my opinion, it's hard to understand, it's hard to explain, but a really useful application or impact of the weak nuclear force is in isotopes. So real quick, what are isotopes? Raise of hands. Garrett?
They're what we refer to when we have the different molecular weight of a
Good.
carbon 12 versus carbon 14.
So same number of protons, different number of neutrons. Same chemical element, different atomic mass. Those are isotopes. Okay, maybe isotopes wasn't exactly the best way to phrase this, but let's take the carbon-14 isotope. We know that it's carbon because it has 6 protons. We know that it's carbon-14 because it has 8 neutrons. Carbon-14 is famously known for its usefulness in carbon dating. That's because carbon-14 only forms from solar radiation, and carbon-14 has a radioactive half-life, so it decays. So we can tell how old something is based on how much carbon-14 is left. What does it decay into? It decays into a stable nitrogen-14 isotope. How many protons in nitrogen? How do I get 7 protons from carbon-14, which only has 6? One of the neutrons must have become a proton. I have the same mass that I did earlier, and if it's nitrogen, meaning it has to have 7 protons, it must now only have 7 neutrons. This is the weak nuclear force. The weak nuclear force is involved in the flipping of a neutron into a proton or vice versa. Neutrons and protons are actually accumulations of quarks, up quarks and down quarks. Quarks actually have electric charge. The up quark is plus 2/3 charge. The down quark is minus 1/3. So a proton with 2 up quarks, 4/3 positive charge, and 1 down quark, minus 1/3 positive charge, gives 1 positive charge. Neutron is the opposite. 1 up quark, 2 down quarks cancels out electrically neutral. The weak force is involved in there somewhere. Okay, that's cool. That's really just a chance for me to review isotopes with you. The strong nuclear force. This is something you're all a little bit more familiar with. This is what holds together a nucleus. What's in a nucleus? Protons and neutrons. And if you have more than 1 proton in your nucleus, something is going to have to hold them close to each other. It should feel a little unintuitive, a little, that your nucleus has protons crammed in so tightly. Why? Why should that feel unintuitive? And how do you know that they should repel each other? Because you're holding the analog of a proton in your hands. If you flip your magnets around so that the like ends are facing each other, you cannot get them to touch. You can feel that repulsive force. The strong nuclear force is what overcomes that repulsive electromagnetic force and allows for your nuclei to exist. The strong nuclear force is quite strong, but in order to get to overcome electromagnetic repulsion and to get the strong nuclear force to even stick, you need fusion to occur. That happens under incredibly high heat and high pressure, like inside of a star. So our strong nuclear force is the only explanation for what is holding together these positively charged particles that we should expect are repelling each other. And this is what gets us to our last and most applicable fundamental force, electromagnetism. Electromagnetism is what makes up all of the chemistry that we explore. And you hear that it has 2 parts, right? It has an electric part, which is made up of the positively charged protons, the negatively charged electrons, the Protons and electrons attract each other. Electrons repel each other. Protons try to repel each other unless they're held together by the strong nuclear force. That sounds a lot like what you're holding in your hands, which is the magnetism. I don't know why they give magnetism a B. Electric force was given E, magnetic force was given B. But magnetic forces don't have these two separate components, positive and negative. Magnetism has one block with two ends, north and south. North attracts south, north repels north. It's analogous, completely analogous to our electric forces. Exactly the same, but manifesting itself differently. Two sides of the same coin. But it turns out that these two features of the same force impact each other. So you guys learned in general chemistry that the electric field is perpendicular to the magnetic field as electromagnetic force is propagating through space. Do you know what we call the propagation or radiation of electromagnetism? The radiation of electromagnetic force? That's light. Electromagnetic radiation, whether it's visible radiation, X-ray radiation, radio radiation, gamma radiation, microwave radiation, it's all propagation of electromagnetism in its two components, the electric and the magnetic field. That's light. Magnetism affects electric components, and electric components create magnetism. So I want to give you a quick example of that. If electrons repel each other, take in your hands the like ends of a magnet and the way they repel each other, electrons repel each other as well. If that's true, then why do we find electron pairs? One spin up, one spin down. That's because as a charged particle spins, it creates a magnetic field. The spinning of an electric charged particle creates a magnetic field, which is countered by another electron spinning opposite of it, creating an opposing magnetic field. And what do opposing magnetic fields do? They attract each other. Like the two ends of your magnet, north and south are attracted by that magnetic force. So why do electrons pair? Because electrons are little magnets. Everything we're going to talk about this semester is just little magnets. When you go and start your car, you're starting a generator, which pushes electrons through copper wires in a circle. You know what that creates? A magnetic field. When you go and charge your phone on a wireless charger, electricity is moving electrons in a circle, creating a magnetic field that then creates movement of electrons inside your phone to charge them. Everything that we talk about this semester are little magnets. I need those little magnets back. They were a Christmas present from my husband to you and all of my future students. So I want those magnets back, but I also want you to be thinking about those magnets all semester long. Why do our organic molecules react the way they do? Because they are specific magnets. Some are weak magnets, some are strong magnets, some are very specifically curated magnets, enzymes we call them, but everything is just magnets. I'll see you guys on Thursday, where we will dive into our first lecture reviewing OChem 1. Have a good night. Keep the worksheets, but if I could have the little sheet of paper and your magnets back. Thank you.